And the deck itself looks super fun, super easy, super straightforward, and very synergistic. This deck is, love it. So the Aurora Armory deck has finally been fully revealed, and as far as Armory decks go, this is a very, very good one. Furthermore, the new cards are very much legitimate players in the wider constructed formats. I'm very, very pleased with this one. So today, let's do a rundown of the deck itself, the new stuff, and the impacts that this deck will have. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my Flesh and Blood friends. Welcome back to the channel, and thanks so much for tuning in here on your Flesh and Blood Friday for, that's right, a rundown of the Aurora Armory deck, which, let's be honest, I was super excited about. We all knew this, but this deck is banging. This deck is really good within the context, to be fair, of Armory decks. No, there's no sideboard. There's no AB in it, which, you know, that's within, I'm just saying, within the context of the product line, I think this is a really good one. Now, I do want to give a shout out, you know, to the rollout. I thought the rollout was kind of fun. They did a rollout on a French Twitch channel. Obviously, like if you weren't up at 2 a.m. in the morning, you probably didn't watch it, and then you had to pay $6 to get to watch the video post haste, which I chose not to do. But then later in the day, they being Flesh and Blood on their YouTube channel, they had a Armory deck battle, which was really great. It was like really good video. One of the devs specifically on there, I really enjoy watching, does a really good job talking through his. Anyway, it was really good, but they had them, to my point about the AB, they had them paired up against Azalea, which is the only Armory deck that does have AB. Now, to be fair, they threw their AB pretty early within the match, but anyway, go watch it. I'll actually do the linky link thing. It's worth watching. It's really good. And again, shout out. Thank you, Delisa. So today you can see the thing on the, you know, on the side of the screen. I've got an approach, but I am overall, I'm really, really pleased with this deck. I had made a video a couple weeks back about what this deck needed to land. One of the major points was it needed to have the staples from the First Strike decks, which it does. So I'm very pleased about that. And we got a blue block 3 that's like not just a blue block 3, but it's like really good. And lightning, by the way. That's the point. Anyway, so let's start out by going through the deck itself. So and yes, we'll go through each individual card, as you can see on the right. But we go through Cap of Quick Thinking, Shockfrock, Starfall, of course, the Starlight Striders, and the Zap Clappers, rounding out the Majestic equipment. Majestic rarity is actually relevant in this discussion because one of them comes in at a rare, and we actually got a new common, which has completely broken the mold from what we've historically seen in these type of decks, which is also very cool. So going into the red pitches, yes, shocker, pun intended, this is largely a red-based deck. So you have 3 Crackles, 3 Shockwaves, 3 Burn-Up Shocks, 1 Electromagnetic Somersault, which the one of here balances out the 2 Arc Lightnings, which I was surprised to see Arc Lightning in here. We have 3 Electrostatic Discharges, no joke there, 3 Entwined Lightnings, 3 Flittering Charge, 3 Lightning Press, 3 Lightning Surge, 3 Photon Rush, so that is a return from the First Strike. We have 3 Sizzles. Yes, so there's no yellow sizzle, but the red sizzles is what you want. It's great. We have 3 Skizzics, 3 Snatch, 3 Spark Spray Red, which is a brand new card coming in at common or rarity out of an Armory deck, and then 3 Static Shocks. Yes. Pitch 2, we have the Arc Lightnings, and then 3 Skyward Serenade, which is so good, which I think maybe in the end people probably will only run 2 of those, but we'll get to that later. And then going into pitch 3s, I have to give a shout out here. Arcanic Crackle, fair enough, but Captain's Call actually is a pretty hot include. Like that's pretty hot. I got to give some shout outs there. We have Heaven Claw Blue, and then Written in the Stars Blue, which is great. So that brings me to, you know, I kind of already talked about it, the reprints of the First Strike cards. Thank you. Like, this is so necessary for this to work. You know, again, if you'd bought the First Strike and then you bought this, yeah, you have extras. You do. But it's so much better. It's such a better feeling. I'm not saying it's a good feeling, but it is a better feeling than someone buying this and not having 3 copies of Sizzle and Static Shock and having to go buy 2 First Strike decks. This is a win. Chef's kiss. Thank you. This is all the deck needed to land, and then y'all made it better. So thank you to all of you for making this happen. Okay, now let's go ahead and go into the new stuff. And I want to lead with Spark Spray. So this is Spark Spray Red. So Spark Spray Yellow and Blue, by the way, were in the First Strike deck. But this is the first time we've seen a brand new card that is not of, I believe it to be true. I believe the statement to be true. This is the first time we've seen a brand new card not of Majestic rarity in an Armory deck. And we actually saw 2 of them. But the first is Spark Spray, which is actually commoner rarity. This is actually really big for the commoner format, for those of you that care. This is actually really important because, you know, it's a 0-4 and like Aurora and Briar are both going to eat this up, I believe. I believe they will both eat this up. So this is really relevant for commoner. I don't know if this one will find its way into like the constructed decks, but this is really, really, really hot. Really like this include. Next, we have probably the biggest banger of the set, which is Written in the Stars. So this is a blue lightning that blocks 3, non-attack. Create an embodiment of lightning token, and if you've dealt Arcane this turn, draw a card. This is really good. Like, really good. Like, really good. Like, guys, if you played Aurora even at a low level, you know that like the idea of this is obviously on an Arc Lightning turn. It doesn't have to only be there, but on an Arc Lightning turn, right? You do Arc Lightning, you throw Arcane, they know stuff's coming, then you get an attack that has go again, but then your next one doesn't. But you could Written in the Stars off of, so this itself doesn't have go again, right? But you could Written in the Stars off of Arc Lightning, giving this go again, and then giving the next one go again. But you get to deal, you know, you get the goes again off of that, and then you get to deal, or you get to draw a card. This is so good. And it's still a blue that blocks 3 that's fusible. Oh my God, this card's so good. That's not groundbreaking statement. Everyone's very excited about this card. And I haven't seen the foil yet. You can't tell me this card's not going to look absolutely gorgeous in foil. Full art incoming, Gem Pack 7. I don't know, something like that. But this, right, gonna look great. Gonna look great in foil. All right, let's go ahead and move into the equipment then. So first up, we have the Cap of Quick Thinking. So this is something I was hoping for. You know, you have Crown of Dominion, you've got the Mask, you've got plenty of options for the head slots. I've seen some people playing Justice, all very, very, very good head slots. I was hoping we would see a lightning equipment for the head slot. We did get one. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is gonna, but it's fine, right? So Cap of Quick Thinking, instant destroy it. If you'd be dealt damage, discard an instant to prevent 1 and then draw a card. It's kind of like Azalea with a thing, right? Built in on the head slot. But you got to destroy it. It doesn't block. Which, to be clear, is very in line with Lightning. I think this is completely fine for this deck. I want to be very clear. I think this is completely fine for this deck. I was hoping for more, but like, if I'm being honest, I don't really know what I was hoping for. Like, oh, Lightning head that blocks 15, right? I mean, obviously being sarcastic, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I just don't like the fact that I have to cycle. I mean, I guess in many cases it lets you cycle, but that's the only bad one. And see, it's not bad. That's the only questionable one. Because we have Shock Frock. I think this is a perfectly legitimate piece, right? So action, destroy this, gain 1. Activate only if you've played a lightning card this turn, go again, and has Battle Worn, right? So if you compare this to, you know, the 2 popular choices right now, you have either Iron Weave, which is non-attack, attack, Battle Worn, destroy to gain 2. I mean, the 2 is pretty nice with Crown of Dominion. I think Shock Frock gets stuff done. And then you have Carapace, which is functionally, it doesn't do anything for you, but it's a temper 2 with AB2, so you save sideboard slots. I do think eventually folks are going to move in, but like, I do think that if you pick this up, like Shock Frock, I mean, to be fair, either Iron Weave is a common, so, right? But I guess my point, like, then only is against Dyadic. But if you pick this up, I don't think that you're like, oh, I have to go spend, whatever it is on Dyadic. I think Dyadic's like in the 60s or something last time I checked, so it may not be today. But last time I checked, Dyadic was in like the 60s. And I think like Shockfrog's fine. I think it's fine. And also, a lot of people are playing Tunic with Aurora because Tunic's Tunic, right? But either way, like I think this is completely legitimate with the Battle Worn, and then on there where you need it. I think it's fine. All right, let's move to Zap Clappers. So Zap Clappers is kind of fun. So when this defends, you reveal an instant from your hand and deal 1 Arcane to the opposing hero, which is very interesting from like a Lightning Valley standpoint or something like that. It has Blade Break and it's 2. That said, you need to compare it to the options that are available from a constructed standpoint. This is a great include, by the way, from an Armory deck. Like I think this is a like banger equipment from an Armory standpoint. And then you can look at Vexing Gwilhand, which ironically will probably end up being, just because of the price of the Armor deck, will probably end up being cheaper on the secondary market. Right, you've got Gwilhand for the 2 and the Go Again for the combo turn. And then, of course, you have Grasp, which is, I think, over 100 at this point, right? With all the Runeblades out there, it's got to be, right? Like 120, probably, in that range. You can eventually grow up to that. But I think that the Blade Break 2 with the on-trigger, I think is completely legitimate. So I'm pretty pleased with this card in terms of the include. We next move to Starlight Striders. Love the art on this. I really, really, really do. And this actually works really well with the previous card because you could do them together. You could throw 3 to block and then reveal the same instant and do the thing. When this defends, you reveal an instant card from your hand. If you do, create an embodiment of lightning, and then obviously Blade Break. That said, you have to compare this. This one I think is a little less good. It's very, very, again, very, very, very good in context of the Armory deck. I really, really like that, especially pairing with the previous one. That said, the fact that you have to do it and then get an embodiment of lightning is like very Zen Boots-ish, right? But it's an M versus a C. And I think Snappies for on-demand's probably just functionally better at the budget level. And then you also have Lightning Greaves, which is amazing with Battle Worn and the built-in AB. Like, even if you don't use it for the thing, which a lot of times I don't, the fact that, again, it saves you sideboard slots. But again, this is perfect because, like, you have a very legitimate thing that you can upgrade into, right? So I love the equipment here. So next, let's go to Skyward Serenade and then Skizik. So these are the ones we'd already seen. Skyward Serenade, I think, is very, very, very functional. Skizik, I want to point out, this is very important, is a rare. So my Clash Cult out there is going cray-cray right now because I'm pretty sure Arc Lightning as a spec is legal. Skyward Serenade's probably not, but you know what? They might make it legal. I don't know. But I'm talking Clash right now. Let's move on from Clash. I love this pairing. This is, for me, we'll talk about later what that's replacing in my current Aurora deck, but this is really good. But again, we've seen this. We've talked about it kind of ad nauseum at this point. So let's move on. So let's go into then the constructed impacts. The first change I'm making so I will, over the next 1 to 2 weeks, have my Aurora Blitz and my Aurora CC go live. The thing is, they're not legal yet, right? So I very much want to get reps in on paper on both of them before at the Armory level, before I publish lists. Like, I can publish early lists and, people can click and do the things. Great. It's just not the way I like to run my channel. Great. I like to be able to speak to it personally. So, sorry, not sorry. Okay. Now, what I am forecasting is I've been running in my CC deck, I've been running 2 Weave Lightnings. In my Blitz deck, I've been running 1 Weave Lightning. The 1 Weave Lightning in my Blitz deck balances out 1 Electromagnetic Somersault because I do not like running 2 because I never want to have 2 in my hand at the same time. In CC, I run 2 Electromagnetics and then Weave is a 2, and then I have another card that's 2, which is Blink, which we'll talk about in a bit. So I think that swapping out Weave Lightning for Skyward Serenade is the right call. So that's the call I'm making. Now, to that point, Skizik is a 3 of, and I'm swapping it out for Gone in a Flash. And again, this feeds into Blink coming a little bit later. I've Gone in a Flash with Blink and then like the whole thing. It's really cool when it works, but it lines up so very rarely with what I want to do. Because like, how often are you trying to save cards in your hand? You're not, right? It's not that I don't like Gone in a Flash. It's a lightning that blocks 3, by the way, which is really good. But so is this one. So I think Skizik, I believe that Skizik swaps in for Gauntlet Flash. I believe that to be the right call in this scenario. And that also lets me free up Blink for Written in the Stars. Now, I said earlier that I'm running 2 Blink. I am going to find room for 3 Written in the Stars because I do believe that to be the correct play. And there's some other card slots that I can flex that I'm not sure exactly how the ratios are. I mean, we're talking like 2s and 3s right now. So I really need, like I said, I really need to get this on the table in terms of like what's a 2, what's a 3 and all that. But I'm taking out Blink because the only reason I was playing Blink for the most part was for Gone into Flash. So taking out Blink, taking out Gone into Flash, Skizik's going in. Skizik's going in, Written the Stars going in, and then I'll find the right slot. Oh, I'm taking out also in my sideboard some cards to make room for the... Well, I'm debating again. I need to take a room out for a third of the Skyward Serenade, but I actually don't know that 3 of those is the right play yet. Like I said, I need to get on the table and get reps. Okay. So that's the plays currently with the new stuff. Now, the other one that's in the, I kind of already foreshadowed this a bit ago, but with Spark Spray being a common, I don't think Spark Spray makes its way into a like constructed Blitz or CC deck right now. There's just other good stuff out there. And like if you have one floating at the end of your turn, you probably did it wrong, I'm thinking. That said, in Commoner, I do want to give a shout out to that. I think that card belongs in Commoner. Because, and you know what, maybe it's not even an Aurora, maybe it's an Azalea, to be fair. Although I think both are legit. So, well, let's see, and maybe Briar too. Let's see what she can do there. Right now, Briar likes Earth, but in Commoner, let's see what she can do. So, those are the swaps. Now, let's go ahead and talk just very, very briefly the other build types. So, we've kind of had, I mean, Aurora, like if you go and you compare the vast number of Aurora decks out there, right? Most of their lists are like pretty much the same. Right, I mean, we're talking onesie, twosies, maybe some sideboard includes like how many Findalls I'm running, how many Warmongers I'm running, stuff like that, right? But like that's like onesie, twosie type stuff. That said, I really think that these new cards provide an opportunity to really move away from the whole Flicker Wisp thing, right? And which I've never been a huge fan of. Flicker Wisp has been in my sideboard for fatigue matches and stuff like that, trying to do a big thing, come over the top, you get it. I've never really liked it because I want to just kind of go. Like, that's kind of what Aurora wants to do. So I think with Skyward and Skizik, and then obviously the new blue will find its way in. Like, it will because it's that good. No matter what, you're going to find it. Like, even if it's taking out a Heaven's Claws for your ratio, whatever it is, it's going to find its way in. But I think that Skizik and Skyward Serenade take over kind of that thing. And it'll be very interesting to see, because I do now think that we have 2 functional builds out there where you can try and go combo Aurora. I mean, that's what I'm using air quotes, right? Combo Aurora with Flicker Wisp. Or I think you're trying to just go straight, always have good stuff Aurora. I know which I prefer, because I'm a simple man, and I like to be able to draw a card and be able to use it, right? But that doesn't mean it's the right answer. So it's going to be very interesting to track. It doesn't mean it's the right answer from a competitive standpoint. It might be the right answer for your armory. I believe in my play group, it is the right answer. But I acquiesce that, at the top 8s, at callings, it might not. So anyway, I just want to wrap this up at this point. There's a lot of options that come out of this. This deck dropped good stuff. It's the first deck we've seen, to my knowledge, that dropped new cards at non-Majestic rarity, which is a new precedent setter. It completely backfilled all the stuff we need. And the deck itself looks super fun, super easy, super straightforward, and very synergistic. This deck love it. So I would love to hear your thoughts as well. And, if you're here with me at 20 some odd minutes in, bless your heart. Go ahead and leave me a Skizik in the comments if you made it this far. And I appreciate you all. Looking forward to March, 14th, 13th, whatever. One of them's getting in on March Madness and also St. Patrick's Day. So lots of fun stuff happening that weekend. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Go Commando.